I've been looking forward to this series for so long. I still don't have all the parts that I need, but we're just gonna start it off. Let me show you guys what we have for now. Dude, yes, I got a brand new turbo, 20G from Artgennari. If you need any turbos, I'm gonna link his Instagram down below. You just DM him, ask him what you need, and he will get it for you, or he can restore your old turbo, you name it. But 20G, comparable to like an FP Green, more or less, quick spool is what I wanted, so that's why I got a 20G. And I'll explain later on why is it that we're not gonna go with a bigger turbo, more power and whatnot. Brand new install kit for the turbo, since it is an Evo 9 turbo and I have an Evo 8, and STM fuel rail with all the goodies, new FPR, fuel pressure regulator, new fuel pump, AN fittings, the whole smosh. So we should be good with fuel, and maybe this will resolve our issue that we're having at idle. And then we have more parts, which this is empty and it's not even gonna fit here, but we have more parts coming. Hopefully they come in soon. I think it's back to order, but I just wanted to start this series already. I couldn't wait any longer. So we're gonna start by installing this turbo first, because my turbo currently has a really bad boost leak. So I just wanna check if this is the issue with the lean idle. Just install it. We will tune, we will do a lot of stuff. So we're looking at new turbo, upgrading our fuel system. I guess I can mention this: new exhaust, new JDM rear crash bar. I mean, you name it. So we're gonna try to completely change the setup currently. This is stage 2, which I posted on my Instagram, what I mean by stage 2. I'm still not gonna go fully built, but we are gonna get a new JDM rear. So we're looking at new exhaust, JDM rear, crash bar, turbo, new fuel system for the car. And let me open the hood and see if I'm missing anything else. I already did the throttle body seals and everything on the throttle body, so I think that's pretty much it. Maybe a new O2 dump. I'm not sure if I want to go with a dump yet, but this is where we're at. So let me do what I'm gonna do for now is I'm gonna perform a boost leak test before I install this new turbo, just to make sure that everything is correct. Since I already have the 2.5-inch boost leak tester, I am going to perform one just to make sure that I don't have any other boost leaks besides the one on the turbo. And then once we install this turbo, we'll do another boost leak test, but I don't know, just wanted to make sure, OCD. So let me get down to work. Car has been jacked up, and I wanted to go ahead and show you guys exactly what I mean with the boost leak that I'm getting on the turbo, and the reason I'm switching the turbo first instead of doing all the supporting mods first and then installing the turbo. But I just want to make sure that it is the turbo that's causing the lean idle at you know, when I first started the car. It's just something that's been bothering me, so I just want to check to see if it is the turbo. But I'm gonna do a boost leak test, and I'm gonna show you guys all the air that's coming out. I think it's the O-ring on the CHRA that's bad, because I could put my finger in the corner here and I could feel the air coming out, and it's so bad that it does not hold boost. So I am assuming that's the issue. So let me set the tripod up so you guys can hear the boost leak that's coming out. So I'm not sure if you guys are gonna be able to hear it, but do you guys hear all the air that's coming out through there? Let me see. And now if I was to put my finger around here, so it has to be that CHRA O-ring that goes on the turbo itself. So that's why we're gonna switch the turbo out. The boost leak is so bad that it does not hold not even 10 PSI on the gauge. So it has to be the issue. I hope this is the issue. So let's switch everything out, and I'm gonna walk you guys through how to switch from an Evo 8 to an Evo 9 turbo, because this is a Evo 9 turbo ported into a 20G, which is a way bigger wheel and everything. But let me show you guys how to do that. Let me remove this old turbo. During the coolant, I have to remove the radiator again. So time lapse. just finished taking the turbo apart and removed it from the car. What a mission it is when you have to deal with fluids, like removing the radiator, the oil for the turbo, like everything's just messy, and I try to be as clean as possible. So it took me a little bit longer than expected, not too long, like an hour, 2 hours to remove it. But, oh, and another thing that I wanted to tell you guys, if you guys have a exhaust manifold, I bought these ARP studs that instead of having the stud on the turbo itself, you could just remove it. That way you don't have to remove your exhaust manifold to remove your turbo, which was worth it because that will be a mission to take off, specifically the tight bolts that are all the way in the back. So lucky I had these, made it way quicker. Now that the turbo is completely apart, all I have to do is remove, well, I don't have to remove. The one thing that I am gonna use from this is the O2 housing for now, the oil line, and that's pretty much it. I have everything brand new, J-pipe, brand new coolant lines, oil feed line. So yeah, I'm just gonna remove the oil line in the back, remove the O2 housing, and swap everything over to this new beauty. Now, I think I'm gonna have clearance issues because the Evo 9 turbo is bigger than the Evo 8, which is this one. So I might have to trim down a little bit of my radiator fan, not sure yet. But let me swap everything to this turbo and install all these new parts to this turbo, and then we'll get to installing it. A little side note, I heard that you could kind of bend the Evo 8 lines to fit the Evo 9 turbo. Not sure, I just bought everything new, but if you guys want to do that, they seem pretty much the same. You might have to bend a couple of lines here and there, but everything seems pretty much the same. So I'm just doing this because I bought everything new, but I'll check to see if there is any difference. Removed what I needed, O2 housing, oil line, that's about it. Now, I'm gonna do a time lapse of installing everything, all the coolant lines, the J-pipe and everything on this turbo itself, and then we could finally install. Pretty simple process, to be honest. The turbo is completely assembled. I did realize that the J-pipe was completely different. This one's longer, and one of the coolant lines is a little bit shorter, but pretty much simple. Just swap or install. Just put the two coolant lines, one oil line, the oil return line that goes to the oil pan, and the O2 housing with the O2 sensor. Gasket all torqued down to spec. Basically pretty simple. I mean, pretty self-explanatory. Now back to the car it goes. We will install it and then put some new oil and stuff like that. Turbo has been installed in the Evo. Now, just to cover up things to know that I installed, basically the coolant lines are for the Evo 9. They're almost the same, so honestly didn't notice a difference, but make sure you tighten all your coolant lines, your oil feed line, which goes to the head. I used 2 new washers. Now, banjo bolts down here, new washers as well. What else? Downpipe obviously installed, O2 sensor connected, don't forget that. And pretty much it. Just make sure you torque this to spec, very tight for my case since I use ARP bolts. Now it's just a matter of putting the heat shield in, and now I'm gonna test the new radiator, or not the new radiator. I'm gonna test the radiator to see, since this turbo is bigger, just to show you guys. I'm not sure if it's gonna hit the fan or not. Hopefully not. That way I could just install this and start it up. But if you have any questions, always leave them down in the comments. Pretty simple, just how you remove it, install it back in. And there's also another video that I did on like turbo restoration or something like that. I'll link it up here somewhere and you guys could take a look at that. I also explained how to remove it there, I believe. So yeah, let me go ahead and try to install the radiator and see if it fits. Just as expected, I had to shave down a little bit on the fan. On this side for the wastegate, and on this side for the bolts of the wastegate. Don't judge my cutting, I just use pliers. I'm gonna shave it, well, not shave it, sand it down a little bit just to make it look nice and even and OEM, kinda. But, oh, and I also had to cut one of these rings to be able to fit the turbo. Another option that you could always do, which was an option I had before, instead of using this shroud, they sell zip ties that you could just zip tie it and the fan sits way more flush on the radiator itself. I kind of want the shroud, it helps with cooling, and the zip ties will melt, literally. After a couple of months, they will just break, and then I had to take the radiator out, put new zip ties, so it was just kind of like a hassle. So that's the reason why I am sticking with the shroud, and I'm messing a little bit with the fan. But again, it's not really that much. It's just this and this tab and this little tab right here, which is not much. But now this radiator should fit. So car is almost ready. I just checked over everything just to make sure that everything was tied up and correctly installed. Now, all we have left is put some oil on the car. I had to drain the oil to remove the coolant, no, not the coolant, the oil lines for the turbo. So put brand new oil and then fill up with some coolant or water and coolant. And then I think we're ready to start up. So let me put oil, coolant, and we should be good to go. Coolant, we have oil. Now all we have left to do is just prime the new turbo. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this crank position sensor, unplug it. As you can see, it's unplugged. Now we're gonna crank the car maybe 2 to 3 times, get some oil to the new turbo. Once we do that, then we will actually start the car. So hopefully everything goes well and this fixes our lean issue at idle, which we will check right now. All right, so in the car we go. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous. I don't know why, but so we're just gonna prime the car, like I said. Gonna do that like maybe 4 times. We're gonna do it 2 more times. One more time. Perfect. So now that we have oil at the turbo, assuming everything's good, which should be because I didn't touch anything that had to do with oil, pressure, or anything like that, we're gonna connect this plug once again. Just like that. Put it down here. And now, oh, can't lie, I'm a little bit nervous. I cannot lie. Let's hope this fixes our idle issue and everything goes well. Here we go. on. Let me check over everything. Ooh, maybe not. Let's see what happens. I don't think that was the issue because as you can see, we're still lean. The car does have to warm up. I am on E85. So I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes and then I'll come back to the video. I'm gonna check over everything just to make sure everything's good. So as you saw, started the car. Everything with the turbo good. Well, no complaints so far. I did see a little bit of smoke coming from the turbo, but not from the actual turbo, just from where it got coated. So I'm assuming that could be normal because when you get coated parts, it does smoke a little bit. But the issue at idle still persists. I don't know what the issue could be, honestly. Like, I'm gonna change pump. The next episode is gonna be fuel pump, fuel rail, and FPR, fuel pressure regulator, which might do the trick. I'm gonna switch the fuel pump first, start the car to see if maybe I have a faulty fuel pump. I have a 255 Walbro, but I do run E85, which everybody does. Even though it's not meant for E85, everybody runs it with E85, and I have a lot of friends that have no issues whatsoever. But that could be the problem, who knows? I'm a bit frustrated, man, because I really thought it was going to be the turbo. It had a really bad boost leak, so I was like, it has to be the boost leak, you know, vacuum leak at idle, has to be it, but that wasn't the issue. Next episode, we will do the fuel pump, we will do the fuel rail and the fuel pressure regulator. So I will see you guys then. I hope this video was informative. I hope it helps anybody that wants to switch their turbo from an Evo 8 to an Evo 9. Pretty simple process, don't hesitate on doing it. And if you guys need anything in regards to turbo, honestly recommend Artgennari's Turbo. It came in the box, looked brand new. Everything seems good so far. I haven't tested it, so I am pretty sure it's gonna be good once I tune everything, but truly recommend them. I'll link his Instagram down in the description. So if you wanna get any Evo 9 turbo or you wanna build you wanna build up a turbo, so hit him up and tell him I sent you. If you guys have any questions, never hesitate, leave them down in the comment. I'll see you guys next weekend. Take care and keep grinding.